Hey guys, this is Bruce Marshall with Simpler Trading. Happy Wednesday, happy Fed Day. Hope everybody is doing great. Navigating this market that we are in, crazy market. And we'll jump right in here. We'll look at the S&P. Another crazy day, and I know I get tired of even saying that, but um, every time you think it's about as crazy as it gets a little more crazy, and today was one of those days as well. So get this, we had a big run higher last night, big gap up at the open this morning, and I thought, we're looking at this, we're looking at levels, we're taking out these levels easily and think we're going to reach up here to our voodoo skyline up here, but instead we reverse and come all the way back down. And we think this was going to be, this is going to hold. It did not. We come down, that level did. That's a micro line. And this was the kind of all of the action ahead of the Fed, and that's pretty typical. You get some back and forth, squaring up positions. People are trying to get positioned ahead of the Fed. A lot of buying and selling. Selling algos are kicking in, and people are taking profits and trying to get the last little move in. And then we go into this kind of dormant or chopping mode. And then, again, it's pretty typical of what happens on a Fed day, kind of chop, range bound. Then that right there, that's the Fed announcement right here. And boom, and we gap all the way up here, 4453. Take out the high on the day, come up to right to our voodoo skyline. Look at that level on the voodoo skyline is 4454.54, 53.23. So, right up to that level, tag it, and then immediately I wouldn't go so far as to call it a crash, but that's a 50-point move straight down in about 4 minutes or 5 minutes. It's insane the moves that we're having. And I've been trading professionally now for 33 years, and I don't recall moves like this that are kind of back and forth that fast. And of course, it's because of algos and program selling and program buying and high frequency and all that kind of stuff. So we're chopping along. Everything's going great. Back and forth, and then Powell starts speaking here, and we start free falling. Look at the gap. Free fall. But wait, there's more. And we free fall, and we free fall, and we free fall, and we free fall. And we just keep going and we come all the way down here to 43.05. That's 44, 40, 150. Am I doing that right? 150 points. One direction. So lots of selling, and then we kind of started to get a little foothold here into the end of the day, and that leaves a big giant question mark as kind of what was that and what just happened, that kind of thing. And if I could talk to Powell, I would say you had one job, just reassure the market that and he did not. So, and I didn't even listen to the press conference. I just kind of read the cliff notes. But tapering is we're tapering. We're raising interest rates. 3 times. He did not change the date on the next hike or the rate hike, which is expected to be March at the March Fed meeting. That could have helped, and I don't know all the conversation behind all that and the thought process. Obviously, there was a lot of deep thought going into that. I think it's either a lot of deep thought or no thought at all, because if they are truly going to do that, I guess it's better to kind of get it out there now than to shock later, that kind of thing. I don't know. I've not been able to figure out anything about this Fed. It's been truly bizarre watching them in what they have been doing the last couple of years. But anyway, that's what we have to work with, I guess. But let's back this thing out. I want to focus on the S&P here, of course, as a broad representation of the market. So let's go back out here 20 days. and everything's great up here, everything's going fine, and then we're going to raise interest rates and all of the other things, inflation. The Fed still has not acknowledged the inflation and um, debacle that has unfolded. Right. I don't want to say because of them, but anyway, we'll leave it at that. But anyway, and so we're down, down, down. These are some pretty violent moves down, from 4,800 down to 4,200. I mean, when's the last time we were seeing, 600 point moves? This is a 20-day chart, you know. Um, so lots of movement here, lots of free falling here. You see all the red, and then we're trying, if you look at this, we're trying to work our way back up here. Maybe a lot of this now is going to depend on, the Fed's out of the way right now. It's over. We know what they're thinking, all that kind of stuff. Now it's up to some earnings. We had Tesla, which beat on revenue. They just reported a little while ago. I haven't seen anything. I saw it flush down. Now it's coming back up. We've got Apple tomorrow. We got Amazon, Google next week. So we've got a lot more earnings coming in. Even tomorrow, there's a lot being reported in the morning. I think if earnings are okay, we might can kind of get a little momentum back up here. And my target, honestly, I had been looking for a bounce really off this Fed meeting up here to 45.18. This is SPX, and then maybe as high as 45.50. But and I thought it would happen today because I thought the Fed would be a little more accommodative, a little more dovish, being that this is pretty important to the market and they know it. I thought they would kind of come across a little bit better than they did. But anyway, so if we do indeed continue to go down, where we're going to go, and I think we go here to the fire line, which is about 4,100 on the ES, about 40.83 on the SPX. If we just keep going, and that's going to be continuing a series of bad earnings and more inflation pressures, and of course, COVID and all that kind of stuff. A lot's going to depend on guidance from all of the companies and so forth. So we're still kind of in limbo. Again, if you look at this, and let me zoom in. I thought this level here on the snow line probably was a good level to hold. Maybe it does, and maybe we do, start coming back up here. There's my little level up there to 45.18. I tell you what, I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing this happen. There's just too much baggage right now with interest rates and all of the. Now we got the Ukraine thrown in the deal, and Russia, and all that kind of stuff. So these earnings better be pretty good, or we're going to see some lower prices. So even if we do get a big bounce up here to this level, I'm probably going to short it back down. Thinking this thing bounces and comes back down, kind of that direction. Now we obviously that can change on a dime if we start to really get some momentum and go up higher and all that kind of stuff, but don't confuse short covering with momentum to the upside, right? Lastly, on the NDX, kind of the same thing. It's even uglier on the NDX on the NASDAQ here, tech heavy, little interest rate sensitive, etc. We have taken out the previous low here. We are sitting on tree line. We could, yes, indeed, we could even go lower to this tree line, possibly. I'm not really counting on that. I'm not really expecting that, but if it does, we will be ready. I do have a trade down here at 4,100 waiting in case it's a hedge and just in case this thing does come down. So we shall see. But in the meantime, and I know if you're watching this or you're watching the market at all, to keep powder dry and sit on your hands and wait for the right setup and the right moment and all that kind of stuff. Don't think this thing is going to be a buy the dip deal like we've had for the last 8 years or whatever, where it just flushes down, then you buy it and it just comes back up, everything's rosy. This may take longer this time. So just be patient, be careful, and watch your P&L, manage your risk, and we will all be all right. And again, think about getting on the other side on these bounces and trying to short it. I'm doing very short-term trades. here, basically day trades or next 2 or 3 day kind of trades or next week or so kind of trades. Small size, and so far that's working, and that's what we'll have to keep doing in this market. So that's what I've got for you. Hope it helps. Hope it makes sense. And I will see you guys at the next update, or I will see you in the main room or the bias room, one or the other. And we'll see you then. Thanks.
Without simpler trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency.
It's one of the things that won me